Hi, everyone. Ashley Mailloux, David Aragona here with the Daily Racing Form. Taking a look at the race of the day for this Wednesday, June 18th. We will go to Horseshoe Indianapolis. They have a really nice 10-race program. We'll focus kind of on the middle of that. Race number 5, a dirt event for older horses. Mile and a 16th is the distance. And David, looking at this allowance optional claiming event, I know it's not a huge field, but I feel like the bookends here are the really interesting horses, Speed Bias and Native Land.
Yeah, definitely back class is a theme to this race because you've got some horses that either showed promise earlier in their careers or were competitive in stakes company going back to maybe 2023, 2024, trying to find some of that better form. And that's definitely the case for the morning line favorite, the number 1 Speed Bias.
We will take a look at the time form US pace projections for this event, and can see here it says it favors front runners. The 3 and the 4, David, is who they kind of point out here maybe being forward. And I don't know what I expect to see from her, and I think I've expected several different things, and it never pans out that way. But I would agree that Presidential is likely to be forward.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of a tricky pace to read. When I initially saw this pace projector, I was surprised to see the number 1 Speed Bias depicted back and forth. But then I was kind of looking at his recent past performances. And while he was known as a horse that showed early speed going back to the 2023 and 2024 seasons, he's kind of lost some of that speed in his recent starts. So I do understand that positioning on the pace projector. But I think he'd be one that would be well served to get an aggressive ride from the gate to maybe secure position from post 1.
And do note, too, he's sort of mid-pack here, but also has the late pace flag attached to him. So let's dive right into it with the number 1 Speed Bias. This one for Ron Moquette. 6th last time out. I'm going to draw a line through it, David, right? Going a mile and a half, different ball game, cutting back in distance. And you go down to those races at Oaklawn Park this year. Obviously, he wasn't cracking into the top 2, but I have to think that level of competition was tougher than he's going to face in here.
Yeah, class relief is just the name of the game for this horse. He's been running against some really tough company recently. I like to look at the time form USPPs, which assign class ratings to all the horses' recent races, known as the race rating. And the lowest race rating for any race he's competed in over the past 5 or 6 starts is a 116. Today's race rating, 107. So it's a significant drop in class for this horse. And he has not gotten ideal trips a few times. He kind of got rank early when Flavien Prat chose to rate him in the beginning portions of that marathon race last time. So I think he's better than that. Still, Ashley, he's only won 3 times in his career. He's not a horse that I really trust to get the job done, even against this softer field.
Yeah, and he's going to be a short price, 9-5 on the morning line. The 2 go. Emmy up next here was 3rd last time out, and just that second start off the freshening. But another one, you start to go down the past performances. Been a while since this one's found the winner's circle, 2022 to be exact. And I understand this horse had a lengthy layoff, but to me, the recent form would need a really big step up.
Yeah, even going back to some of his best efforts, it's sort of hard to make the case that he's good enough to beat a field like this if they repeat any of their recent performances. So he was the real outsider in this field.
The 3 Hearn, 8-1 on the morning line. This one is disappointed in the last 2. And I don't know how you feel about him, David. I just go down the past performances. I feel like for him to have a shot at all, he needs to be forward. And I really don't know how quick he is as of late.
Yeah, he's got a couple of those low 80 buyers that I guess put him on the fringes of being competitive here. But you go back and look at those races, they were both earned in claiming races. And when he stepped up against tougher competition, he generally has not been that successful. He competed at this level last time at Horseshoe Indy, didn't get anything of that race. And I just thought he was in a little tough here.
The 4 Presidential is going to return to Horseshoe Indy for the first time in a long time. This was the scene when he broke his maiden and his second career start. And since then, well-traveled, especially looking at his races in 2024. This is going to be his first start now as a 6-year-old. And I feel like at his best, he could be a factor. I just don't know what we're going to get off the bench.
Yeah, kind of interesting management of this horse by Steve Asmussen, who competes at a variety of circuits all across the country, but he's kind of kept this horse strictly in those southern states throughout the past couple of seasons or so. And you go and look back, and some of the better speed figures that he's earned have been at places like Albuquerque, Zia Park, Sunland, where, I mean, nothing against the horses that compete there, but generally not the toughest competition that you find in other places up north. So Presidential, also a horse where his form tailed off at the end of last year, coming off a layoff. Generally, I like to see these Steve Asmussen runners get a race before I really want to back them off long layoffs like this.
The 5 up next here exits, to me, an important race at the meet so far on May 28th. Was 4th best, split that field. I think when you look at some of the names in there, the top 3, all decent horses that can fire bigger numbers, David. We're talking closer to 90 buyers in their career. And I guess he was the best of the rest. To me, this field softer than potentially what he faced then, but I'm still not convinced of him getting the job done.
Yeah, the winner, Midnight West, put in a huge performance to win that race. He arguably could have won by more than the 9 lengths, but they basically slowed him to a canter at the end of that race as he was much the best in there. What I found strange about the trip for Archie the Giza last time, Ashley, was that he just lost the early speed that he had showed in his recent starts. He was actually pretty aggressive when he returned from the layoff early in 2025, but he's gotten a little bit slower and a little bit slower in each start since then. And he was just very sluggish from the gate last time and was only picking up pieces at the end. If he doesn't have that same tactical speed here, I wonder that the race flow might not really benefit him.
And then we round out the field here with the number 6, Native Land. This one for Riley Mott. Was 5th last time out in that first start off of freshening. That's been sort of a common theme with this horse. Races, goes to the bench for a little bit. And obviously a different surface last time out at Presque Isle. Now gets back to the dirt. And I guess if you want to knock his dirt form, it would be the fast dirt races, David. Obviously he's running well over a wet main track. But I think looking at those performances and who he faced, to me, he's a major threat against this group.
Yeah, I mean, what I find interesting about this horse, Ashley, is that the first 5 starts of his career were all 2-turn races on the dirt. And he has not gotten a chance to go 2 turns on the dirt in the last 5 races. 4 of those have been on different surfaces. They tried synthetic a few times, turf once. He ran okay on synth. Didn't really look like he moved up on that surface. And it just seems like they're getting back to basics with this horse, to what worked at the start of his career, going the 2 turns on the dirt. I think that's what he's best suited to. And I expect him to at least be in mid-pack somewhere. He's probably not a forward type in here, but in such a small field, at least breaking from the outside post, his jockey should have some options to get decent position here. And he was just kind of the one horse that I could project a little bit of upside for in this race.
All right, that's the field of 6 for the Wednesday race of the day. Don't forget it's race number 5 out at Horseshoe Indy, and free pass performances on the Daily Racing Forum website. We'll take a look at our top picks here, and we both have the same thought. You can't really trust speed biased, right, David, based on what we've seen, but you've made a lot of good points about Native Land, just getting back to things that he's done in the past, having another opportunity to try the dirt.
Yeah, I don't totally trust Native Land. He's been a little bit off form recently, but Speed Bias is a horse that sometimes makes his own trouble, gets into trips, and I just don't totally trust him to get the job done, though I do recognize, given what he's facing here, he probably is the most likely winner. Native Land just likely to be a better price.
David and I see this race very similarly. 6-1-5-4 for David, 6-1-4-5 for me. Out at Horseshoe Indy this Wednesday. Good luck.